All right, so here's the deal. It's 2022. It's the end of the year. I'm back, but once again, we're doing this on the fly. We're just making what we can from what we have. So before I get into the list, a few disclaimers. Again, mostly unscripted. I'll get things wrong. I'll misname things. I'll mispronounce things. I will string thoughts and words together that don't even make sense, most likely. So I apologize for that in advance, but maybe that kind of adds to the charm of the video. Depends on your taste. A couple more things I want to mention before I get into this top 30 list. Number one, there are so many albums and songs and new artists on the scene every year that one human being cannot possibly be expected to keep up with it all. So, with that said, there's many albums that I did not hear this year that might have made this list should I have given them a chance. Just off the top of my head, some albums that I wanted to listen to this year that I didn't get around to before I shot this video. I did not listen to the new JID album. I did not listen to the Quinn Christopherson album. I did not listen to the new Freddie Gibbs album. Same thing with Regina Spektor, the new SZA album, and the new album by Rosalia that came out this year as well. All of which I'm sure are pretty good in their own right. Last thing I want to say, you know what, never mind. I'll just throw that in the description of this video. I was going to talk about albums that probably could have made my list last year but didn't. But again, I've wasted enough of your time. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I have all the artists here on my phone, so that's what I'll be staring down, but I'll try to be looking at the camera to make you feel noticed as well. All right, so top 30 albums of the year. At number 30, I'm going to go through these top 10 kind of fast, but at number 30, God Don't Make Mistakes by Conway the Machine. Great rap album. One of the best I've heard all year. After that, number 29, we have Sometimes Forever by Soccer Mommy. A really great album. I didn't care so much for her last one, although Clean, in my opinion, is a perfect album. But I thought this album really showcased some of her stronger musical qualities. After that, at number 28, we have Hellfire by Black Midi. Great, proggy, technical rock album. Highly recommend if you haven't heard it already. Next, we have Crash by Charlie XCX at number 27. Can't say enough nice things about that album. Just pop excellence front to back. After that, a new band that I heard this year, we have the album Baby by Petrol Girls. Really abrasive, really intense. Great punk rock album. After that, we have De Todos las Flores by Natalia Lafourcade. And woo! Heat. Beautiful regional Mexican folk music. Just all around a stunning, beautiful album. Next up, we have, I meant to learn how to pronounce this right before I started recording this video, but we have Ethiopiopes by Billy Woods. It's a new Billy Woods album. Again, like a stunning, awesome, conceptual, experimental rap album that was really good and a really memorable listen, and had some of my favorite bars that I heard all year easily. Next, after that, it is the return of Julia Jacklin with her album Pre-Pleasure. Really great indie folk rock album. Just one of the best to do it right now on the scene. Just so happy she's still making music into the 2020s after her 2010s run. At number, I've already lost track. What is this? 2021. There'll be a number on the album somewhere. The magic of editing. We have Death Fame by Quelle Chris. Quelle Chris, one of the best rappers of our generation, does not get enough attention, in my opinion. Came out with Death Fame this year. Great rap album. Give it a listen if you haven't already. And ending off that first stretch of albums, I think maybe this will put us at number 21. We have Marquita by Silvana Estrada. Again, just like when it comes to like folk, like regional Hispanic music, just we really got spoiled this year between Silvana Estrada and Natalia Lafourcade. Just like beautiful music front to back. definitely. All right, next up at number 20, albums that I was a little more excited about, but are very good still. We have Lunar Oil Torture by Oil Torture. This album's like a fever dream. It's a lot of field recordings, a lot of synths, a lot of spoken word as well, all just kind of like merged together. And oh man, it's real dreamy, but real spooky at the same time. So if that sounds at all interesting to you, I highly recommend you give it a listen. Next, at number 19, we have Topical Dancer by Charlotte Adidri and Bolus Pupil. Just like a great, like, not only is it just like awesome dance music, but the fact that it's able to be so fun, but so like funny and tongue-in-cheek and like topical and socially aware as well. Like it's a real accomplishment of an album that I don't think I heard anything else like it this year. After that, we have music from Grandmaster Masese's Cell Phone. Rest in peace, Grandmaster Masese. This is actually a posthumous album. This is music that was found recorded on his cell phone. So again, a very underground world artist. So just for some context, he plays the obokono, which is, I believe, a homemade string instrument from Africa. And like you've never heard anything like this for sure. I mean, it just produces this like real high pitch but real synth like buzzing sound. And the fact that it's mixed in with home recordings of him playing that instrument with also elements of chanting, spoken word, field recording with like birds and chickens throughout the album, also mixed with the sounds of, I don't know, people shopping at a store, children playing. It's very lo-fi and very low mixed, but just like a really unique listen, to say the least. All right, next up, we have Super Champon by Otoboke Beaver. Just, music from Japan is so good right now. And Otoboke Beaver, in my opinion, is one of the leaders of that example. They killed it on this album. Idakoma Hits was fantastic, but somehow they managed to one-up it. So if that says anything, let that statement stand for itself. Next, we have Hostile Architecture by Ashenspire. I had never heard of this band before, and when I checked their music out, I'm pretty picky when it comes to metal, but as far as like all the litmus tests that I use to determine whether or not I enjoy metal, these guys pass with flying colors. The lyrics are excellent. Some of the most like colorful and inventive instrumentals that I've heard within a metal album in quite some time. Really enjoyed this one for sure. After that, at number 15, we have Living Torch by Callie Malone. This is a more ambient album, an experimental ambient album is how I would describe it. But, oh man, like it's just such a trip, such a treat to listen. I struggle to put into words like the feelings of awe and inspiration that come from listening to this album. It's only 2 songs. Each runs about maybe 15 minutes apiece, but you feel like you're traveling into a new world, and it genuinely is Callie Malone's world when you're listening to this. After that, at number 14, we have Shunka Ryugen by Haru Nomuri. I'm so impressed with Haru Nomuri, and I'm so impressed with like what she manages to do on every project. I mean, when it comes to someone who like puts their heart and soul into their music, I struggle to think of someone who can do it at that level as consistently as Haru Nomuri. Please give this album a listen. After that, we have Comradely Objects by Horselord. A super inventive experimental rock album that leans more towards the instrumental side, more than anything. Just, again, really enjoyed this one. Some of the most like dancey and eclectic instrumentals that I've heard in the 2020s so far. So if that sounds interesting to you, you already know what to do. Next, we have Glitch Princess by Yule, an experimental electronic album that also has really good vocals in it as well. that also manages to pull at your heartstrings more often than once. So again, I'm sure you've seen this album on like multiple lists already at this point, but I just want to sing my praises for it as well and just say that I love this album. That plain and simple as that. I love this album. And at number 11, we have Capri Songs by FKA Twigs. And you know what? FKA Twigs deserved this album. FKA Twigs deserved to be happy and make a happy album and sing songs about just letting loose, being yourself, and being happy, all on this wonderful album / mixtape. So, again, just Capri Songs, FKA Twigs, chef's kiss. And, all right, here we are, the top 10. Let's see how long it takes me to get through these. We're already running at about 11 minutes, I can see on the camera. At number 10, we have Hiss by Wormrot. This album blew my mind. How did they do that? Some grindcore metal band from Singapore just comes in and like runs the gamut of like all these different styles of metal and occasionally punk all on one album that like never dips in quality for a single song. What? How? What? How? All right. At number 9, we have Live at the Montreal Jazz Festival by Anna von Voshoff. I had heard her music before, but something about this recording, the way it's sequenced and the way it's mixed, I feel like I'm hearing her for the first time. Like I'm really hearing her voice and everything that her voice has to offer musically. The range and just like the intensity and passion that comes off of her vocals, like I can name maybe like 1 or 2 people who do it in a similar way, but again, I feel like that comparison would lie flat on its face at the end of the day, because I mean, what? Again, I'm struggling for words, but really, really happy I gave this album a chance. I might have mentioned this in a few videos before. I'm usually not a big fan of live recordings, but this live recording managed to somehow kill off almost every other album that I heard this year. All right, so I believe that was 10, 9, number 8. We have Sick by Earl Sweatshirt. This album is sick. Sorry, I had to do it. But yeah, I've been listening to Earl since, I don't know, 2017. And I think this is one of his best albums. I didn't see this album get the hype that maybe some of his last couple albums did. But I really think at this point, like, he somehow manages to be more mature and more thoughtful with each album, but like never sacrifice creativity and like boundary pushedness along the way as well. So really happy I gave this one a listen, and like, yeah, I don't see myself not being an Earl Sweatshirts fan anytime soon. Like honestly, one of the best. All right. Next, at number, let's see, that was 10, 9, 8, 7. And In the Darkness, Hearts Aglow by Wise Blood. I know I've said this a lot, but this album's so beautiful. Like the Baroque pop and Natalie Merring and all the instrumentals and bands that she has thrown together. Like I just hope she keeps doing this forever. Please, never stop. All right. Next, after that, at number 6, we have Can I Take My Hounds to Heaven by Tyler Childers. The only country album that I have on this list, but oh my goodness, there has never been a country album like this. It's a triple album, so it's really long for one. And the thing that really blew my mind was that it's the same album every time, but just re-recorded in different styles. I mean, one's more of like a modern country album with modern country production. Then he does the same songs with a more folksy, stripped-backed, kind of rustic recording style. But then he throws you for a loop with the last disc and just like takes elements of the instrumentals and then warps them together in some kind of like trip hop beat mixtape. It's like, what? Does this even make sense? I don't know, but it's great nonetheless. I mean, it's better than great. It's spectacular. Please give it a listen. All right. Top 5. Top 5. At number 5, We've Been Going About This All Wrong by Sharon Van Etten. I saw her live this year. I'd always been aware of her music, but seeing her live and hearing her perform new songs from this album, instant diehard fan. I have a soft spot when it comes to like indie folksy singer-songwriters, and she just like hit that spot, but like with a bullseye. Some of the like most fun and thought-provoking songs that I've heard all year, and who knows, maybe even all decade. But again, I'm always impressed when a singer-songwriter manages to be thought-provoking but fun at the same time, because I know that's really, really, really hard to do, and she does it here like it was nothing, like it was easy. All right, next up, we have Dragon New More Mountain, I Believe in You by Big Thief. Perfect album to listen to while you're driving in the rain to go get some tea in the morning. Just like the comfiest album I've heard, not only this year, but just like all decades so far. I mean, it's only been 3 years, but yeah, the comfiest album I've heard all year. Dragon New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You by Big Thief. Give it a shot. Up next, we have one of the most talked about albums this year. I think I heard someone mention this at almost every concert I went to. We have Ants From Up There by Black Country New Road. It's just like they're just OP. Like all the stats are maxed out. The lyrics, the instrumentals, the production, the sequencing, just the thematic timing. It's just what they did it. All right, at number 2, we have Natural Brown Prom Queen by Sudan Archives. This album is just a straight up magic trick. The way she's able to blend elements of soul, R&B, folk, pop, and just like meld them seamlessly all on one just breathtaking album is beyond me. I'll still probably be trying to figure out how all of that happened years from now, but that's not going to stop me from enjoying this like monumentally accomplishment of an album anytime soon. All right, and then finally, my number 1 album of the year, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar. And I know what you're thinking. Oh man, that's not even his best album. He's done better than that. And I would argue, no, I think you're wrong. In fact, I think you're dead wrong. This is the most, like flat out, this is the most important album he's ever made. And I don't want to say it's his best album or it's his most like musically adventurous album, but thematically and cohesively as a project, it's his most important album. Up to this point in his career, Kendrick Lamar has been a professional finger pointer. And I say that as a compliment because he's really smart about it, right? Whether he's talking about problems in his neighborhood, maybe in his community at large, in his country, in the world. He's made a rap career so far pointing out the problems in everything but himself. So for him to come around and point that keen sense of observation at himself, to take the hardest look in a mirror I've seen any musician ever do up to this point, like it was just, I was amazed. Like he was just total vulnerability, but in a sense that like never compromise artistic creativity or passion. So again, I typically go with the album that made me think the most and stuck the most with me as my album of the year. And yeah, no album beat this one or even came close to it. I love this album. I'm going to be listening to this album probably till the day I die. So with that said, there you go. That's my list for my albums of the year. I really appreciate you watching, and oh my goodness, we did it. 2022 is over. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're hydrated. I hope you got what you wanted for Christmas. And with that said, I love you. I hope you're doing well. And until next year, take care. Bye.